Hello people, it's Dodie, and today we're going to talk about how to evaluate a doll. As you can see, this is a lovely, what looks to be an F&B Patsy doll, or of the Patsy family. Now the Patsy family was the first runaway hit for F&B. And this looks like Patsy's sister Joan. But there are things we need to look at, because this little doll is not an F&B. It's a clone. And so we're going to see what makes it a clone and how to explain such things. So let's get her off the doll stand and start discussing. Among other things, the first thing you notice, and thank you, Sonny, for finding her. The first thing you notice is her head doesn't quite fit right. And that surprised me. So I looked at it, and the more I looked at it, the more it just didn't seem like it fit on the neck right. Until I turned her head around, and it fits perfectly. Backwards. So what did that mean? That meant, that the mechanism holding her head on is twisted or backwards. Let me get a little further out here and we'll show you what we're talking about. A little further in. Whoops! Well, the rubber band just broke, which is fine. But you see this bail? You see this bail holds a hook which holds a rubber band. And since we've already got her torn down, unfortunately, we're going to have to go from there, since something broke. And yep, I know you can't see inside her, but the rubber band broke. Well, given as how the rubber band is about 80 years old, I would expect that. So, we have to pull my arm off. And then pull the legs out. And you can see this is an original rubber band, or it looks like it would have been, with wonderful nails to hold her together, which is the first clue. F&B would have had a better finisher than a sharp pointed nail. So, we've got a nice little body and 4 limbs and a head. Now, once we've got all that, it looks like a typical doll, right? But it's not. By the way, this is the rubber band, and it probably would have held for a little bit longer, but the pinch at the very top, see there, it's just a case of it's going to go sooner or later. Well, be that as it may, let's talk about what else you look at. Notice something odd here. Her face and her leg are a little bit different colored. Now, I've already showed you, I've already showed you that these dolls were spray painted at the factory. And if you'll use alcohol to clean your doll, see, kind of dirty. Which is to be expected for a doll this age. Oh, by the way, this doll is about 1932, maybe a little earlier, but I wouldn't expect that. Anyway, the paint does clean up real good. And you can see all the crap that's coming off of it. We know we're going to have to rebuild the little foot. Got a nice little base of paint there, so that won't... What we're going to do is do a process called infilling, and I'll explain that later. But you see, she cleans up real nice. What gave me my first clue that something was odd about this doll were these little scuff marks. Let me get rid of this dirty. Across the chest. Now, paint, oil-based paint doesn't get that kind of scuff mark that all you have to do is just wipe it off. That's the beauty of oil-based paints. They don't scuff that well, and you can just rub them out. And you can see her little tummy is just cleaning up, but this one spot kind of bothered me. So, started rubbing on it. And it started changing color, which tells me this doll has been repaired. Nothing wrong with that. Look at what we're doing now. But the odd part is that there's all kinds of heavy-duty stuff in there. And this is the thing about acrylic paint. It will come off with alcohol. Bad. See? And all you have to do is just a little light rubbing. The old house paint doesn't come off. That you have to use something else, generally turpentine, and that's a pain in the backside, or you simply chip it off. Now, it was skillfully done, but we're going to have to see what's up under there and how we can address it or change it or leave it alone. What gave me the first clue was this. No doll manufacturer leaves a doll out like that. There's been a large buildup right here. And even on a clone, they had better work ethic than that. Like right here. I'm not entirely sure if this has been built up or what's going on. You have to take a look. But since this is such a good paint, and she's in pretty good shape from what I can see, you've got one crack right there. And a little chip right there. And some paint loss on one leg. Well, actually, both legs. Not that big a deal. We can fix that part. So all we're going to do is restore her back. But it comes down to what are we going to do here? Because she was spray painted, which is fine. It's a good way to go with hair. But I'm wondering what she looked like to begin with. She still has her original 10 eyes. And you can see in there, this is the stop. You see, there's her eyes. They have to be balanced. But this little dealie here is the stop that makes her not click. You know, a lot of dolls you clap. Well, the one clap is the retaining rod here. But for me, I can hear on dolls whose deadener has gone. They were usually made of cork. This one's made of felt, which is a good deal. You opened her eyes and she clapped again. So anyway, so what I'm looking at is I've got a doll that was skillfully repainted with the new acrylics, and it worked for a long time. I would say about 50 years. But the long and the short of it is the old paint that she was painted with is still there, and the acrylics are beginning to chip and rub and fall away, and that's a shame. So, looking at it and seeing what happens, and by the way, the doll's head fits right now with the rubber band off. Somebody had put the thing in backwards. Well, anyway, that's what I got for you. Remember to do the stuffs. And yes, Porch Spring Baby I am working on her. You can see she's back to the original, and we're going from there. But I still have to work on her arms and legs before I can paint her again. But she is coming along. Anyway, that's what I've got for you. And like I said, remember to do the stuffs, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.